Olivia Mason looked out the window of the spaceship Horizon as it moved toward the giant purple planet. She never thought she would be here. 5 years ago, she was just studying animal breeding patterns in her lab on Earth. Now she was flying to meet aliens who had asked for her by name. "Dr. Mason, please report to the bridge," said a voice over the speaker. "We are approaching Zareth Prime." Olivia fixed her uniform and checked her hair in the mirror. At 32, she was younger than most people picked for first contact missions. But the aliens, called Zarithians, had asked for a human who knew about breeding and making babies. Since Olivia was the top expert in that field, she got the job. The bridge of the Horizon was busy with people checking screens and talking into headsets. Captain Laura Bell nodded at Olivia when she entered. "There it is," Captain Bell said, pointing to the giant screen at the front of the room. "The royal palace of the Zarithian Empire." Floating in space around the gas giant planet was a massive structure that looked like it was made of crystal and light. It spun slowly, catching the light of the nearby star and breaking it into rainbow colors. It was the most beautiful thing Olivia had ever seen. "They're hailing us," said the communications officer. "They want to speak to Dr. Mason directly." Captain Bell looked worried. "Remember your training. Don't make promises. Don't share Earth secrets, and don't agree to any tests or samples without checking with me first." Olivia nodded, but her stomach was full of butterflies. She stepped forward as the screen changed to show an alien face. The Zarithian had skin that moved with colors like an octopus. Right now it was a calm blue with purple spots. Its eyes were big and violet, with up-down pupils instead of round ones. It had no nose, just small breathing holes, and when it spoke, its mouth moved in strange ways. "Greetings, Dr. Olivia Mason of Earth," said the alien, its voice translated by a computer. "I am Talia, Chief Scientist to Queen Neuralia of the Zarithian Empire. We are pleased you have come." "Thank you for inviting me," Olivia said carefully. "I look forward to learning about your people." "The Queen has requested that you come to the palace alone," Talia said. "We will send a small ship for you." Captain Bell stepped in. "That wasn't the agreement. Dr. Mason comes with a team of 5, including security." The alien's skin flashed with red patterns. "The Queen will only speak with Dr. Mason. This is not negotiable." After a heated argument, they reached a compromise. Olivia would go alone, but with an emergency beacon and constant communication with the Horizon. If anything went wrong, Earth ships would attack the palace. An hour later, Olivia sat in a small Zarithian shuttle as it flew toward the Crystal Palace. The inside of the shuttle was strange. The walls seemed alive, pulsing with soft light that changed with her mood. "The walls sense your feelings," said the pilot, a female Zarithian with green scales on her arms. "Right now they show fear and excitement." "That's exactly how I feel," Olivia admitted. "I'm the first human to visit your royal palace, and the first to meet our queen face to face," the pilot added. "You are very special to us." The shuttle docked at the palace and royal guards met Olivia. They were tall, nearly 9 feet with 4 arms and skin that shifted from green to blue. They carried no visible weapons but moved with power and grace. "Follow us," said the lead guard. "The Queen is waiting." They walked through hallways that seemed to be made of living crystal. The floors hummed with energy and the ceiling changed colors as they passed. Olivia saw other Zarithians watching her from doorways and alcoves, their eyes wide with curiosity. "Why did the Queen ask for me?" Olivia asked as they walked. "There must be a reason." The guard was silent for a moment. "Our people are dying. The Queen believes you can help." Before Olivia could ask more questions, they arrived at a massive door made of what looked like liquid metal frozen in place. It opened without a sound, revealing a vast round room with a pool of glowing water in the center. And there, rising from the pool, was Queen Neuralia. She was beautiful and terrifying at the same time. Standing 9 feet tall with 4 long arms, her skin shifted through colors like an aurora in the night sky. Her head was crowned with living metal that moved like tentacles sensing the air. Her eyes were deep violet and seemed to look right through Olivia. "Leave us," the Queen said to the guards, who bowed and backed away. Olivia tried to remember her diplomatic training, but all words left her mind. She stood frozen as the Queen stepped from the pool, water running off her skin in glowing drops. "Olivia Mason," said the Queen, but her mouth didn't move. The words appeared directly in Olivia's mind. "At last you are here. You can speak in my head?" Olivia managed to say. My crown connects our minds, the queen explained, touching the metal tentacles. It is how I communicate with those I deem important. Olivia felt her scientific curiosity taking over her fear. That's amazing technology. Is it biological or mechanical? The queen's skin rippled with amusement. Both and neither. Like many things in our empire, it exists between categories your science has not yet bridged. Olivia noticed that the queen was studying her intensely. Why did you ask for me? Your guard said your people are dying. The queen moved closer, her skin changing to a deep purple. 300 years ago, a sickness spread through our empire. It did not kill, but it stole our future. Now 99 out of 100 Zerithians cannot have children. In 3 more generations, we will be extinct. I'm sorry, Olivia said, but I don't understand how I can help with that. We have been watching Earth for decades, the queen said. Testing, analyzing. Human DNA has something unique, something our scientists believe might save us. She reached out with one of her lower hands and almost touched Olivia's face, but stopped. And you, Olivia Mason, have the most compatible genetic structure we have ever found. Compatible for what? Olivia asked, her mouth suddenly dry. To save my species, Queen Neuralia said. Her skin glowed with intensity. Our tests show you are 1 in 7 billion humans. Only you can help us create new life that will save the Zerithian people. Olivia felt the weight of the queen's words. 1 in 7 billion. The fate of an entire alien civilization somehow rested on her shoulders. What exactly would helping you involve? She asked carefully. The queen's eyes seemed to glow brighter. First, you must learn our history. Come with me to the sacred chamber. There is something you must see. As Olivia followed the queen deeper into the palace, she had no idea that 17 star systems away, Earth's leaders were already arguing about her mission, or that among the Zerithians, a group led by the queen's cousin was planning to stop any cooperation with humans, by any means necessary. Smoke filled the corridors as Olivia made her way back toward the royal laboratory. The palace shook with explosions, and twice she had to find alternate routes when passages collapsed in front of her. Her head still hurt from the fall, but something else was driving her forward. The queen's mental call, growing more urgent by the minute. I'm coming, Olivia thought, hoping the queen could hear her through their connection. Where are you exactly? A faint reply came, more feeling than words. Olivia followed the mental pull, letting it guide her through the burning palace. Strange new abilities continued to manifest as she moved. When smoke became too thick to see through, her vision shifted to something like heat sensing, allowing her to navigate safely. When a support beam crashed down, she leaped over it with strength and agility she'd never possessed before. What's happening to me? She wondered as she landed easily on her feet after jumping over a gap in the floor. She finally reached what remained of the laboratory. The main door was blocked by debris, but she found a small service entrance still accessible. Inside, destruction was everywhere. Equipment lay smashed on the floor. Screens flickered with damaged circuits and small fires burned unchecked. Neuralia, Olivia called out, searching the wreckage. Where are you? A weak mental touch answered her. Following it, she found the queen trapped beneath a fallen section of ceiling. Her lower body was pinned and her skin flickered weakly with pain patterns. You came back, the queen said, her voice barely a whisper in Olivia's mind. You should have escaped. I couldn't leave you, Olivia said, examining the debris trapping the queen. It was too heavy for a normal human to move, but Olivia was no longer entirely normal. Bracing herself, she gripped the largest piece and pulled with all her strength. To her amazement, the debris moved. With a final heave, she cleared enough for the queen to pull herself free. How did you do that? Neuralia asked, staring at Olivia with wonder. I don't know, Olivia admitted. Ever since the bonding process, I've been changing, getting stronger, seeing differently. She helped the queen to her feet. What did you do to me? The queen's skin showed patterns of guilt and concern. The bonding went further than I intended. When Zovira attacked, the process was at a critical stage. I couldn't stop it safely. What does that mean? What's happening to me? Before the queen could answer, another explosion rocked the palace, closer this time. The lab's remaining walls groaned with structural stress. No time to explain now, the queen said. We must reach my private shuttle. This section will collapse soon. Supporting each other, they made their way through the burning palace. The queen was injured, limping heavily, but her knowledge of secret passages helped them avoid the worst of the fighting still raging between loyal forces and Zovira's rebels. Where is Zovira? Olivia asked as they moved through a narrow maintenance tunnel. She escaped when the reactor was hit, the Queen replied. She will regroup and attack again. She will not stop until I am dead and you with me. They reached a small hidden hangar where a sleek ship waited. Unlike the utilitarian shuttles in the main bay, this craft was elegant and clearly designed for royalty. Its hull shimmered with the same living crystal as the palace. My personal vessel, the Queen explained as the door opened at her approach. It can outrun any ship in Zovira's fleet. Once inside, the Queen moved to the control panel and placed her hands on crystal interfaces. The ship hummed to life, lights flickering on throughout the cabin. Where are we going? Olivia asked, looking around the luxurious interior. Away from here, somewhere safe where we can complete what we started. The Queen's skin showed determination patterns. Somewhere Zovira cannot find us. The ship rose smoothly and shot out of the hangar, just as another explosion tore through that section of the palace. Through the viewport, Olivia saw the beautiful crystal structure beginning to break apart, sections falling into the gas giant's upper atmosphere where they burned like falling stars. Your palace, she whispered. Your home. It can be rebuilt, the Queen said, though her skin showed grief patterns. What matters is that we survived, that the future of my people survived. As they accelerated away from the destruction, Olivia noticed several ships in pursuit, the distinctive angular vessels of Zovira's forces. They're following us, she pointed out. Not for long, the Queen replied. Her hands danced over the controls and the stars outside suddenly stretched into lines as they jumped to faster-than-light travel. With immediate danger behind them, Olivia felt exhaustion wash over her. Her body ached from exertions it had never been designed for, and her mind buzzed with the new connection to the Queen. I need answers, she said firmly. What exactly happened in that lab? What did you do to me? The Queen's skin shifted to a color Olivia hadn't seen before, a deep luminous purple with flecks of gold. Through their mental link, Olivia sensed a complex mixture of emotions. Guilt, wonder, excitement, and something like maternal pride. The bonding went far beyond genetic sampling, the Queen admitted. When Zovira attacked, the process was at its most vulnerable stage. To stop would have caused damage to both of us, so I completed it. Completed what exactly? Olivia demanded. A full genetic exchange, the Queen said. Not just a template for future work, but the actual creation of new life. Olivia felt her heart skip. Are you saying? Yes, the Queen's voice was soft in her mind. The process created an embryo. A child with both our genetic material. Olivia sat down hard on a nearby seat. I'm pregnant? With an alien baby? No, the Queen shook her head. That's what makes this so extraordinary. I am the one carrying the child. But how? That's not physically possible. The Queen moved closer, her skin now showing excitement patterns. The technology we used was designed to take genetic material from both participants and create an embryo that would be implanted in me. But something unexpected happened. She touched Olivia's face gently with one of her lower hands. Your adaptive sequence. It's more powerful than we realized. Instead of just allowing genetic compatibility, it created a true bond between us. Your DNA didn't just combine with mine, it changed mine. And mine changed yours. That's why I'm stronger? Why I can see heat patterns? Olivia asked. Yes, you've gained some Zerithian traits through our bond. The Queen's eyes glowed with wonder. And I've gained some human ones. I can understand English now without a translator. I feel emotions differently. Olivia tried to process this incredible information. So you're saying we're, genetically linked now? More than linked. Bonded. The Queen's hand moved to her own abdomen. And through us, a new life has begun. A true hybrid with the strengths of both our species. Olivia felt dizzy with the implications. This is way beyond what I agreed to. My people, they'll think I've been experimented on against my will. As if on cue, an alert sounded from the ship's communication system. The Queen moved to check it, her skin darkening with concern. Your ship, the Horizon, is hailing all frequencies, she reported. They're demanding your return and threatening military action. She looked back at Olivia. They've been joined by 3 more Earth vessels. They're declaring this an act of war. Olivia felt sick. This was spiraling out of control. Let me talk to them. I can explain. Not yet, the Queen said. Zovira has likely contacted them already, spreading lies about what happened. And in your current state with the changes to your body, They might see you as compromised. I need to stop this before it gets worse, Olivia insisted. The Queen's skin showed conflict, but she nodded. Very well. But first, there's something you should know about the prophecy, something I didn't tell you before. She moved to a small alcove in the ship and removed what looked like an ancient scroll. Unrolling it carefully, she showed Olivia the complete prophecy, not just the edited version in the sacred chamber. The Oracle Mira foresaw not just the salvation of the Zerithian people, the Queen explained, but a greater threat to both our worlds. A threat that only our combined strengths could face. Olivia studied the ancient writing which the Queen translated for her. It spoke of shadow beings from beyond the edge of the galaxy, entities that had engineered the sterility plague as a first step toward conquest. The plague that's killing your people wasn't natural or even created by rivals, Olivia realized. It was biological warfare from an unknown enemy. An enemy that will come for Earth next, the Queen said grimly. Mira saw them attacking your world within a generation. The plague was just their first weapon. Olivia felt cold fear. If these shadow beings could create a plague that targeted reproductive systems so precisely, what else could they do? That's why the bonding between us is so important, the Queen continued. Our child will be the first of a new generation with the strengths of both species. Humans with Zerithian abilities, Zerithians with human adaptability. Together we might stand against the coming darkness. Olivia paced the cabin, trying to absorb everything. Her mind raced with questions and implications. Was this real? Could she trust the prophecy? What would happen to her now? She looked at the Queen, who waited patiently for her response. Through their mental link, Olivia could sense the Queen's sincerity, her fear for her people, and her growing attachment to both Olivia and the child she now carried. Queen Neralia led Olivia down a spiral path that seemed to go deep below the Crystal Palace. The walls here were older, carved with strange symbols that glowed faintly blue when they passed. The air felt heavy with age and secrets. How old is this place? Olivia asked, running her fingers along the ancient carvings. The palace above was built 800 years ago, the Queen said, her voice still speaking directly into Olivia's mind. But this tunnel system is over 10,000 years old. It was here when my ancestors first came to this planet. They reached a round door made of dark metal. The Queen placed all 4 of her hands on it, and the door slowly opened with a deep rumbling sound. Stale air rushed out, carrying the smell of something like old books and spices. The sacred chamber, Queen Neralia said. No outsider has ever been allowed here. Until now, Olivia stepped into a vast circular room. The walls were covered with paintings and carvings showing the history of the Zerithian people. A soft light came from crystals embedded in the ceiling, illuminating the ancient art. Our story is here, the Queen said, gesturing to the walls. From our first days on Zareth Prime to the current crisis. Olivia walked slowly around the room, studying the images. She saw Zerithians building great cities, traveling to other planets and fighting wars with strange enemies. The art style changed as she moved, becoming more refined and detailed over time. Then she came to a section that showed something terrible. Zerithians lying sick in beds, mothers crying over empty cribs, a population graph showing numbers falling dramatically. The great sterility, the Queen said, her skin turning a sad gray color. 3 centuries ago, a plague swept through our empire. Those who survived found they could not have children. Only the royal family and a few lucky others remained fertile. A targeted biological weapon? Olivia asked, her scientist's mind working. We believe so, the Queen nodded. Though we never found who was responsible. Since then, each generation has fewer births. Our 17 worlds, once home to billions, now hold less than 50 million Zerithians. And that number falls every year. Olivia continued around the room and stopped at a strange section. The paintings here showed beings that looked different. Some of them looked almost like humans coming from the stars and meeting with Zerithians. What is this? She asked. The prophecy of renewal, the Queen's voice whispered in her mind. Made by our greatest oracle 8 generations ago. It foretold that beings from a distant blue world would carry the genetic key to our survival. Olivia studied the image more carefully. It showed a Zerithian and one of the human-like beings standing together, with a child that had features of both species between them. You think humans are these beings from the prophecy? Olivia asked. That's why you contacted Earth? We know you are, the Queen said firmly. When we discovered your planet 50 years ago, we began testing. Human DNA has extraordinary adaptive properties. And yours? The Queen's skin flashed with excitement. Yours is special even among humans. Before Olivia could ask more questions, a Zerithian rushed into the chamber. It was Talia, the chief scientist Olivia had seen on the video call. Her skin was flashing with urgent red patterns. My queen, Talia said, bowing quickly. We have detected movement from Zavira's ships. They are breaking orbit and heading toward the palace. The queen's skin darkened with concern. How many? 3 warships, Talia reported. They will be here within 2 hours. Who is Zavira? Olivia asked, sensing the tension. My cousin, Queen Neuralia said, her voice cold in Olivia's mind. She leads those who believe we should accept our fate and die with dignity, rather than seek help from other species. She calls our plan an abomination. Olivia felt a chill. What exactly is your plan? You still haven't told me what you want from me. The Queen turned to Talia. Show her. Talia pulled out a small device and touched it. A hologram appeared in the center of the room, showing complex DNA structures spinning and combining. This is Zerithian DNA, Talia explained, pointing to one strand. And this is yours. She pointed to another strand. We have been working on a way to combine them to create viable embryos that would be resistant to the sterility plague. That's impossible, Olivia said. Our species evolved on different planets. Our DNA structures would be completely incompatible. Normally, yes, Talia agreed, but your DNA has something we've never seen before. A unique ability to adapt and integrate with other genetic structures. We believe it might be possible to create a hybrid. A child that is both human and Zerithian, the Queen added, one that could pass its fertility to future generations and save our people from extinction. Olivia stared at the hologram, her scientific mind racing. Even if this were possible, what would you need from me? Just DNA samples? The Queen and Talia exchanged looks. It's more complicated than that, Talia said carefully. The process would require your presence for at least 6 months. There would be treatments to prepare your body, and the genetic merging must happen in stages. We would not ask this if there were any other way, the Queen said, her skin now a pleading purple color. But you are our only hope, Olivia Mason. Without you, my people will vanish from the universe. Olivia felt overwhelmed. She had come expecting a simple diplomatic meeting, maybe some scientific exchange, not being asked to participate in creating a hybrid species. I need to think, she said, and I need to contact my ship. They'll be worried. Of course, the Queen nodded, but we must move quickly. If Zavira reaches the palace before we begin, she will try to stop us. She believes any mixing of our species is wrong. Talia led Olivia to a communication room where she could speak with the Horizon. Captain Bell was not happy when Olivia explained the situation. Absolutely not, the captain said firmly. This is way beyond your mission parameters. I'm ordering you to return to the ship immediately. But Captain, Olivia argued, this could be the most important scientific breakthrough in human history, and we'd be saving an entire species. Or creating a dangerous new hybrid that could threaten Earth, Captain Bell countered. The risks are too great. Return to the ship. That's an order. Olivia ended the call feeling torn. Her scientific curiosity and compassion for the Zerithians pulled her one way, while her duty to follow orders pulled her another. When she returned to the sacred chamber, she found the Queen studying the prophecy paintings. Your people said no, the Queen guessed, reading Olivia's troubled expression. They want me to return to the ship, Olivia admitted. They're worried about the risks, the Queen nodded sadly. I understand their fear. The unknown is always frightening. She turned back to the painting of the hybrid child. This is why Zavira fights us. Fear of change. Fear of the future. Olivia studied the painting again. Something about it called to her. The child in the image had the Queen's violet eyes but a human smile. Tell me more about this prophecy, she said. Our greatest oracle, Mara, made it when the sterility plague first appeared, the Queen explained. She said our salvation would come from the stars, from beings who carried fire in their blood. She said one special being would bond with the royal line to create new life that would save both worlds. Both worlds? Olivia asked. What danger threatens Earth? The Queen's skin darkened. The prophecy is not clear on that, but Mara was never wrong in her predictions. A loud alarm suddenly blared through the chamber. Talia rushed in again, her skin now bright orange with fear. Zovira's ships have accelerated, she reported. They will be here in 30 minutes. And they have armed their weapons. Prepare the palace defenses, the Queen ordered. And contact the human ship. Warn them to move to a safe distance. As Talia hurried away, the Queen turned to Olivia. You must decide now. Stay and help us begin the procedure or return to your ship. Either way, there may be violence. Zovira will not stop until she has destroyed all hope for our future. Olivia thought of the dying alien civilization, of the Queen's desperate plea, and of the strange prophecy that somehow involved both their worlds. She thought of Captain Bell's orders and the unknown risks. Then she made her decision. I'll stay, she said, at least to learn more about the procedure. But I can't promise I'll go through with it until I understand everything involved. Relief flooded the Queen's face, her skin turning a bright, happy blue. Thank you, Olivia Mason. You give us hope. As they hurried from the ancient chamber toward the laboratory where Talia waited, neither of them noticed a small device hidden in the shadows. On a distant ship, Zovira watched the feed from the hidden camera, her skin dark with rage. The human has agreed to help, she hissed to her followers. We must stop this abomination before it begins. Prepare the boarding parties. We will take the palace and kill the human ourselves. The royal ship sped toward the human fleet, its engines humming with power. Through the view screen, Olivia could see the horizon flanked by 3 larger Earth vessels, heavily armed military ships that hadn't been there when she first arrived. They're locking weapons on us, the Queen said, her skin flickering with concern patterns. Olivia moved to the communication panel. Let me talk to them. Open a channel. The Queen touched the crystal controls and a screen lit up showing Captain Bell's face. The captain looked tired and angry, her expression hardening further when she saw both Olivia and the Queen. Dr. Mason, she said coldly, are you under duress? No, Captain, Olivia replied firmly. I'm here voluntarily. There's been a misunderstanding. The Zerithians aren't hostile. That's not what our intelligence says, Captain Bell countered. We've received reports that you were subjected to experiments against your will. That the Queen, she almost spat the word, used you to create some kind of hybrid. Olivia felt the Queen's anger through their mental link, but sent a calming thought in return. It's more complicated than that, Captain. Yes, there was a genetic procedure, but I consented to it. And it's created something important, something that could benefit both our species. You've been compromised, Captain Bell said, her voice softening with what sounded like pity. Stockholm Syndrome, or maybe they've done something to your mind. We're bringing you home, Dr. Mason. The fleet has orders to disable that ship and retrieve you. Captain, please, Olivia tried again. You need to listen. The screen suddenly filled with static as the connection was jammed. At the same moment, the ship's sensors blared a warning. Zovira's fleet, the Queen said grimly. They're jamming all communications and moving into attack position. 3 warships, heavily armed. On the view screen, Olivia could see angular black ships appearing on the opposite side from the Earth fleet. They were now caught in the middle with weapons pointed at them from both directions. Can we outrun them? Olivia asked. Not both fleets at once, the Queen replied. And Zovira knows all the capabilities of my ship. She helped design it. A new transmission came through, breaking through the jamming. Zovira's face appeared on the screen, her skin dark with hatred patterns. Cousin, she said, her voice dripping with contempt. You've led our people to ruin with your perversions, bonding with a human, creating a hybrid abomination. You've defiled our royal bloodline forever. I've saved our people, Queen Neralia responded, her voice steady. The child I carry is the future of the Zerithian race, the first of a new generation that will be immune to the sterility plague. There will be no future for that abomination, Zovira hissed. My ships will destroy you both before I allow such a monstrosity to exist. The transmission cut off. Seconds later, Zovira's ships began firing, energy beams streaking toward them. The Queen's hands danced over the controls and their ship veered sharply, barely avoiding the blasts. The human ships are also moving into attack position, she reported. They think we're allied with Zovira. This is insane, Olivia said. We need to make them understand. Both sides. Another blast rocked their ship, this one clipping the outer hull. Warning lights flashed across the control panel. Shield damage, the Queen said. We can't take many more hits like that. Olivia felt desperation rising. Everything was falling apart. Two civilizations were about to go to war, and she and the Queen would be the first casualties. Then she felt something strange through their mental link. A third presence, faint but distinct. It wasn't the Queen's thoughts she was sensing, but something else. Something new. The child, the Queen whispered, her hands moving to her abdomen. I can feel its consciousness awakening. So soon? That's not possible, Olivia said. It was just conceived hours ago. The hybrid grows differently, the Queen explained, her skin showing wonder patterns. Faster. And it has abilities. I can feel them developing. Another hit rocked the ship, harder this time. Systems flickered throughout the cabin. Engine damage, the Queen reported. We're losing power. Olivia stared at the view screen, watching Zavira's ships moving in for the kill while the Earth fleet approached from the other side. There seemed no way out. Then an idea struck her. A desperate, possibly insane idea. The prophecy, she said suddenly. You said our child would have the strengths of both species. My adaptability and your psychic abilities. Yes, but it's not yet born, the Queen said. It cannot help us now. Maybe it can, Olivia insisted. You said you can feel its consciousness. I felt it too, through our bond. If it has your psychic abilities, maybe it can reach out. Communicate. With whom? How would that help us? With everyone, Olivia said. Both fleets at once. Show them the truth. The Queen's eyes widened as she understood. A mass psychic projection? It would take enormous power. Power I don't have alone. But you're not alone, Olivia said, moving closer and taking the Queen's hands. You have me. And our child. The three of us linked together. The Queen hesitated for only a moment, then nodded. It might kill us. The strain would be enormous. If we do nothing, we die anyway, Olivia pointed out. And two civilizations go to war. Another blast hit their ship, sending systems into critical failure. Red warning lights filled the cabin. We have no choice, the Queen agreed. Sit with me. Join your mind fully to mine. They sat face to face in the center of the cabin, the Queen's four hands holding Olivia's two. The crown of living metal extended its tentacles, connecting with Olivia's temples once more. The mental link between them flared to full power. Olivia gasped as her consciousness merged with the Queen's, their thoughts and memories flowing together like two rivers joining. And within that merged consciousness, she felt the small, bright spark of their child. Impossibly aware, impossibly powerful. Now, the Queen whispered, focus on the truth. Show them all what has happened, what will happen if they continue this path. Together, they reached out with their minds, amplified by the Queen's technology and the hybrid child's unique abilities. Olivia felt their consciousness expanding, touching first the crews of the nearby ships, then reaching further, to the leaders on Earth and Zareth who had ordered this conflict. Images flowed outward. The dying Zarithian civilization, the prophecy of the shadow beings, the genetic bonding, and the child growing within the Queen. But more than images, emotions, intentions, hopes, and fears. The complete truth, unfiltered by prejudice or politics, and with it a vision of the future. Earth and Zareth united against a common enemy, their strengths combined through a new generation of hybrids. Or the alternative, two weakened civilizations destroyed one after the other by the patient shadow beings waiting at the galaxy's edge. The strain was immense. Olivia felt blood trickling from her nose, her brain burning with the effort. Beside her, the Queen's skin had gone pale, her life energy pouring into the psychic broadcast. Then slowly, she became aware that the shooting had stopped. On the view screen, the ships of both fleets had gone still, their weapons powered down. The communication panel lit up with incoming transmissions from both sides. They felt it, the Queen said weakly. They saw the truth. Olivia could barely speak, exhausted by the psychic effort. All of them? Enough of them, the Queen replied. The leaders. The ones who can stop this war before it begins. The first transmission came through. Captain Bell, her face showing shock and confusion. Dr. Mason, she said uncertainly. What? What was that? We all saw. The truth, Captain, Olivia managed to say. Everything I couldn't explain before. Did you see the shadow beings? The threat to Earth? Captain Bell nodded slowly. Everyone on the bridge saw it, felt it. It was overwhelming. A second transmission cut in. Zovira, her skin now showing confusion patterns instead of hatred. The prophecy, she said, looking at the Queen. It was real. The Oracle's vision, I saw it clearly. The shadow beings engineered the plague. They plan to attack Earth next. Yes, cousin, the Queen said. Now do you understand why this child is so important? Why our species must work together? Zovira was silent for a long moment. I need to think. This changes everything. Over the next hours, as their damaged ship was towed to a neutral position between the fleets, negotiations began. Leaders from Earth and Zareth spoke directly for the first time, comparing what they had experienced in the psychic broadcast. 6 months later, Olivia stood beside Queen Neuralia on the observation deck of the new joint Earth-Cerethian space station. Through the viewport, they could see ships from both civilizations moving together in coordinated patterns. The first joint fleet, training for the defense of both worlds. The Queen's abdomen was now swollen with the growing child. According to the medical team monitoring the pregnancy, birth would come within weeks, far faster than either a human or Zerithian pregnancy would normally develop. She's strong, the Queen said, her hands caressing the movement within her. I can feel her mind growing every day. Her abilities are extraordinary. Through their still active mental link, Olivia could feel the child too, curious, intelligent, already forming complex thoughts. Sometimes when Olivia was sleeping, the child would reach out and share dreams with her. Strange, beautiful visions of a future where humans and Zerithians lived together in peace. The royal laboratory was unlike any place Olivia had ever seen. The walls were made of a clear material that looked like glass but felt warm like skin. Strange machines hummed with energy, and floating screens showed complex data that changed constantly. Talia worked quickly, preparing equipment while explaining the procedure to Olivia. First, we must map your complete genetic structure, she said, pointing to a bed-like device with a glowing arch over it. Then we can identify the exact sequences that make you compatible with Zerithian DNA. How long will that take? Olivia asked, eyeing the strange bed nervously. Usually weeks, Talia admitted, but with Zovira coming, we must use a faster method. The Queen will help with her mental abilities. Queen Neuralia entered the lab, now wearing a more elaborate crown of living metal. The tentacle-like extensions moved with purpose, seeming almost eager. My crown can connect directly to your mind and body, the Queen explained. It will speed the process significantly, though it may be intense for you, Olivia hesitated. Will it hurt? Not pain exactly, the Queen said. But you will feel strange sensations as I explore your genetic code through our mental link. A loud boom shook the lab, making instruments rattle on their tables. Zovira's ships are firing on our outer defenses, Talia said, checking a screen. We have perhaps 20 minutes before they breach the palace. We must begin now, the Queen urged. Please, Olivia. Taking a deep breath, Olivia lay down on the bed. It conformed to her body, feeling surprisingly comfortable. The arch above her glowed brighter, bathing her in soft blue light. The Queen stood at the head of the bed, her crown's metal tentacles extending toward Olivia's temples. Relax your mind, she said. Do not fight the connection. As the metal tendrils touched Olivia's skin, a rush of sensation flooded her body. It felt like ice and fire racing through her veins at the same time. Her vision blurred, then sharpened until she could see microscopic details in the ceiling above her. I can see your DNA, the Queen's voice whispered in her mind. It's beautiful. So complex yet so elegantly structured. Olivia felt the Queen's presence inside her, moving through her body at a cellular level. It was the strangest sensation she had ever experienced. Not painful, but deeply intimate in a way that transcended physical contact. There, the Queen said. I've found it. The sequence that makes you special. In her mind's eye, Olivia could see what the Queen saw. A strand of her DNA glowing with unusual patterns that seemed to pulse with energy. What is it? Olivia asked, her voice sounding distant to her own ears. We call it the adaptive sequence, Talia explained, watching readings on her screens. Only 1 in 7 billion humans have it in this form. It allows your genetic material to bond with ours. Another explosion, closer this time, shook the lab. Alarms began to sound throughout the palace. They've breached the outer defenses, Talia reported, her skin flashing with fear patterns. Zovira's forces will be inside the palace soon. We must complete the initial bonding now, the Queen said urgently. Olivia, I need your permission to proceed to the next step. Olivia felt torn. Everything was happening too fast. She had so many questions, so many concerns. But the desperation in the Queen's voice was real and the danger was imminent. "What exactly will happen in this next step?" she asked. "I will take a small amount of your genetic material and combine it with mine," the Queen explained. "Not enough to create life yet, but enough to prove the bonding is possible, to create a template for future work." Another blast rocked the lab stronger than before. Lights flickered and one of the floating screens crashed to the floor. "They're in the East Wing," Talia cried. "We have minutes at most." "Okay," Olivia decided, "do it. But just this first step." The Queen's relief was palpable through their mental connection. "Thank you," she said, her gratitude flowing into Olivia's mind like warm water. The metal tentacles of the Queen's crown pressed more firmly against Olivia's temples. The sensation of fire and ice in her veins intensified. She felt something being drawn from her, not blood but something deeper, more essential. At the same time, she felt something from the Queen flowing into her. A presence, alien yet somehow familiar, entering her body at a cellular level. "The bonding is working," Talia exclaimed, staring at her screens. "The genetic sequences are integrating perfectly." The Queen's skin glowed with patterns of joy and excitement. "It's beautiful," she whispered. "Our combined essence." Suddenly, the lab door exploded inward. Armed Zerithians stormed in, their skin dark with aggressive patterns. At their head was a female who looked similar to the Queen but with sharper features and skin that rippled with red and black waves. "Stop this abomination," she shouted.
"Step away from the human, Neuralia."
"Zovira," the Queen said, her voice cold. "You're too late. The process has begun." Zovira raised a weapon that looked like a crystal wand. "Then I will end it and the human." Everything happened at once. Talia leaped forward, throwing herself at Zovira. Guards loyal to the Queen rushed in from another door, engaging Zovira's soldiers. The Queen's crown tentacles withdrew from Olivia's temples as she turned to face her cousin. Freed from the connection, Olivia rolled off the bed, disoriented and weak. Her body felt strange, as if it wasn't entirely her own anymore. Her vision kept shifting, sometimes seeing normal colors, sometimes seeing heat patterns like the Zerithians could. In the chaos of the fighting, Olivia crawled toward a small door at the back of the lab. Her communication device was gone, lost in the confusion. She had no way to contact the horizon, no way to call for help. A hand grabbed her ankle. She looked back to see one of Zovira's soldiers pulling her backward. "The human must die," he growled, his skin flashing with hatred. Suddenly, a surge of strange energy rushed through Olivia's body. Without thinking, she kicked out with strength she didn't know she had. The soldier flew backward, crashing into a table of equipment. Olivia stared at her hands in shock. What had just happened? How had she done that? The Queen was locked in battle with Zovira, their crown's metal tentacles clashing like swords. Energy crackled between them as they fought both physically and mentally. "Run, Olivia," the Queen shouted both aloud and in Olivia's mind. "Get to the emergency shuttles." "Level 3, East Corridor." Olivia hesitated, not wanting to abandon the Queen after what they had shared. But more of Zovira's soldiers were entering the lab. She wouldn't survive if she stayed. She slipped through the small door and found herself in a narrow service corridor. Following the signs, she made her way toward Level 3, moving as quickly as her shaky legs would carry her. Behind her, she heard explosions and the sounds of fighting spreading throughout the palace. Ahead, emergency lights flashed, guiding the way to evacuation points. As she ran, Olivia became aware of new sensations in her body. Her heart was beating at a strange rhythm, sometimes fast, sometimes slow. Her skin felt hypersensitive, picking up changes in air temperature and movement. And strangest of all, she could feel the Queen's emotions even from a distance. Determination, fear, and something else. A fierce protectiveness. Reaching Level 3, Olivia followed the east corridor as instructed. She found a bay of small shuttles, similar to the one that had brought her to the palace. Palace staff were scrambling to evacuate, some injured, all frightened. "You're the human," one of them said, recognizing her. "The Queen ordered a shuttle prepared for you." He pointed to a small craft set apart from the others. "It's programmed to return you to your ship." Olivia moved toward the shuttle, then stopped. Going back to the horizon meant leaving the Queen to face Zovira alone. It meant abandoning the work they had begun, work that might save the Zerithian species. But what choice did she have? She was one human against an army of alien rebels. Her own people had ordered her to return, and she still didn't fully understand what had happened to her in that lab. What changes the genetic bonding might have triggered in her body. As she stood frozen with indecision, a massive explosion rocked the entire palace. The lights went out, plunging the shuttle bay into darkness. Emergency lighting kicked in seconds later, bathing everything in eerie red light. The main reactor, someone shouted. They've hit the main reactor. Panic erupted as people rushed for the shuttles. In the chaos, Olivia was knocked to the ground. She felt a sharp pain in her head as it struck the floor, and then darkness took her. When she regained consciousness, the shuttle bay was nearly empty. Most of the craft were gone, escaped in the chaos. Smoke filled the air and the palace shook with continued explosions. Olivia struggled to her feet, her head pounding. The shuttle meant for her was still there, its door open and inviting. All she had to do was get inside, and it would take her back to the horizon, back to safety. But as she took a step toward it, a new sensation flooded her mind. The Queen's voice, filled with pain and desperation. Olivia, help me. The lab. Containment failing. The mental connection they had shared in the lab was still there, weaker but present. The Queen was calling to her. Olivia looked at the shuttle, then back toward the interior of the palace. Going back meant risking her life. It meant disobeying direct orders. It meant stepping further into an alien conflict she barely understood.